Hey, what's up, guys? Here with a review for you. This time of one of those word thingies. No, I'm not talking about a subtitled movie, though maybe I should talk about The Raid. That's not what this is about. This is about, obviously, a book, a novel, if you will, set in the Star Wars universe. That part's not obvious, that part's just what it's about. And what is this book or novel? Well, it's New Dawn, the first canon book that ties into the new series, Star Wars Rebels, which hopefully I'll get to in tomorrow's review, hoping that will be the one that's up, which I have seen. I did this review before seeing it, but the file got all messed up, so I had to re-record it because I still wanted to talk about it, which shows that I care about enough. I'm doing a whole nother review talking about it, which basically will cover the same things, except now I'll be able to give my thoughts on how I think it ties into Rebels. So let's talk about the book itself. It starts off slow. Let's start with that. We'll start with the slow part. It has a lot of kind of the problems that slowed down episode 1, which, if you've heard me talk about before, I don't hate episode 1. Episode 1 has some good things, but episode 1 was kind of pulled down a bit. One, based on some bad child acting and all the pod race stuff I just didn't care about, small Jabba the Hutt, but also the more political drama thing, which is cool. I like there's a lot of that in Darth Plagueis, which was entertaining-ish, but it's talking about this mining corporation and all the politics that go into this and how the Empire wants this stuff done, and that kind of drags it down slowly because they didn't pace it out with enough action, in my opinion. There is some action there, but I think it just needed a bit of pacing problem in the beginning, I would say. But the point is that there's this Jedi who's no longer a Jedi, because this is during episodes 3 and 4, that period that basically we know nothing about, and he doesn't know what to do. He's like, I'm just going to go on the run, I'm going to take on a bunch of extreme jobs. His job here is to use a ship to carry in dynamite or stuff to blow up the mines so they can get things, and then he comes along the paths of this T'Chaki girl, something like that, some green alien. Kind of looks like Ahsoka's race. It might be Ahsoka's race, but one, she's a green alien with those ear things, and she's like, Hera is her name. She's an expert pilot. She wants to start a rebellion, so she's kind of testing out a bunch of different people, including Kanan, the Jedi character, because he shows signs of being greater, even though he's mostly just, hey, this girl's cute, I want to get to know her, and there's just something about her that he's attracted to. And they're both here, and they cross each other's paths while also crossing the paths of Count Vividin, who's the main villain here, who's kind of like Dooku, or not Dooku, I think I made this mistake in my first review too, but Grievous, in the way that he was originally a human. I don't believe Grievous was originally human, but he was some sort of alien race and then became a droid. Well, this guy was a human who kind of had himself remade with a bunch of different robot parts to make himself stronger, talks with a robotic voice, very menacing, and basically kind of starts off pure evil, much like we first get introduced to Darth Vader, which is like, oh, this is an evil dude. And throughout the novel, learn his backstory instead of, getting this backstory on how this dude became evil. Start evil, kind of get pieces of his backstory, which I like about this character. Count Vividin is a really cool character in a menacing villain type. I definitely don't want a whole book on him. I feel like he has very simple reasons for why he did what he did, but he did them, and he makes a good villain. Along the way, they've had some side characters, which I think are really strong in this novel. We can't remember the dude's name, but he's an explosive expert. He plants bombs. He's kind of crazy. He was a Clone Wars veteran, has a messed up hand and stuff, and he's like, hey, I don't trust these Empire people, and for that reason, he crosses the paths of these rebels. He winds up sacrificing himself later to be very sad, but he does get to, I don't want to spoil it, but when he goes sacrificing, which is kind of a spoiler, sorry about that, there's a purpose to it, which I think is nice. There's also a character who kind of is like a watcher, watches all the security cans for the Empire, and realizes the flaws with the Empire, so she gives Hera information on this. And basically this novel centers on that relationship between Hera and Caden, who start off, hey, I like you, hey, I don't really trust you, hey, you're cool, but we need to part ways, and just develops into, alright, now we're going to go start a rebellion together, more or less. by the time we reach the end of the novel, Kanan still isn't like alright and ready to be a Jedi the way we see him in Rebels. So I guess this part where I talk about how it ties into Rebels. So in Rebels, it's cool to see these two characters because we, as people who read the book, know those two's relationship because, at least how it started. Because in this year, it's 6 years in between the book and the series. So in that time, obviously they've grown closer together because by this TV show, it's basically like, alright, we completely trust each other, we know what each other's thinking, we know each other a long time, and we're doing good. Which I enjoy. The novel itself, I haven't covered much of the plot because I don't want to spoil it, but it's a good standalone story. You don't need to watch Rebels to enjoy it. You don't need to read it if you watch Rebels. It's basically standalone. It's really nice. And it's a good kickoff to the new canon. The next one coming up is Tarkin, which releases November 4th, which will be interesting due to the fact that it's written by the same person who did Plagueis, so we might get some more information on the dark side. And the next one after that, I think, is the Emperor Darth Vader one, which would be really cool. Then the Luke Skywalker Solo one. I'm going to try to read all these because I love Star Wars. The more stars I get, the better. If I'm ranking this as a Star Wars book, I definitely got to give it an 8 out of 10. Really enjoyed it. As an overall book, it's hard for me to look at it like that as a Star Wars fan. That's the way I look. I think you got to be a Star Wars fan to read this. If you're not a Star Wars fan, you might enjoy it. You might become a Star Wars fan. I can't give you that score. I don't know how to think like that because Star Wars is awesome. Everyone should love Star Wars. Anyways, guys, let me know what your favorite piece of expanded media is. As in the games or the movies or the books. The movies, I'm kind of talking like the original Clone Wars. Well, I guess now that's canon. Just the expanded media, games, books, mini series. I don't know, like the Christmas special. I guess if you want to count that. Mine personally is the Force Unleashed video game, which is really cool. I'm sad it's not canon anymore because it kind of gave us what the TV show is going to give us, kind of how the rebellion started. I think that was really cool how the Force Unleashed did that, but that's not canon anymore. But yeah, let me know what your favorite expanded media of Star Wars is down below. Please like, share, and subscribe as always, and thank you guys for watching.